What is up, ninjas? OJ over here from PlayerEssence, and welcome to my village of Nintendo Switch and gaming news. I'm terribly sorry for not having this video up sooner, but me and my daughter, we were just having way too much fun last night. We were playing with dolls and doing all sorts of stuff, so I wasn't able to get a video done, but I wanted to get this video out and have some good information for you, so let's go ahead and get right into it. So Warner Brothers says that the download/internet info on the LEGO City Undercover Switch's packaging is incorrect and no internet connection is needed. So we already talked about this. I don't want to spend too much time on it, but Warner Bros. Did issue more of a full statement than what I talked about last time, so I won't discuss it too much, but I did want to read this one off. So coming from Warner Bros., the information is listed incorrectly on the packaging of LEGO City Undercover for the Nintendo Switch. Players who purchase a physical copy of LEGO City Undercover on the Nintendo Switch at retail are getting the complete game and do not need to download additional content to enjoy the full experience. An internet connection is not required to play the game. The only internet connection suggested is to download the typical content update patch. So that is pretty much their full statement there, because even after we talked about them saying, no, you don't need an internet connection, you can just play the game, people were saying, oh, well, maybe there's some additional parts of the game that may be optional that you can download later or something like that. But no, that is not the case. You can pretty much play the full game there. So we're going to see what they're going to do, because remember, LEGO City Undercover on the Wii U was like 20 gigabytes or something like that, and the PS4 and Xbox One versions are like 20 gigabytes. So if you can play the full game on the Nintendo Switch and it's somehow 7 gigabytes on that cartridge, we're going to see what they're going to do with it. That's going to be the masters of compression. I don't know, they got Miyamoto there to help them out or something like that. So Nintendo's engineers to help them compress that game down from 20 to 7. So let's see what they actually do with it. Or maybe even the 7 gigabytes that was reported was wrong in the first place when it comes to the cartridge. So we'll see what happens in the end. Alright guys, and we got some more Xenoblade Chronicles 2 music news. So Yasunori Masuda is going in to record Xenoblade Chronicles music recently. So that was yesterday. So he did that yesterday and it was glorious because he is such an amazing composer, and he put this out on Twitter saying, quote, "Today we going to record of Xenoblade 2. I'll do my best. Smiley face." Yo, this is what I like to see, because remember, anyone and lots of people have informed me that when the music starts wrapping up, when you start really getting intensive into the music, that means the game is pretty much done. The people can see the different atmospheres, they can see the battles, they kind of know what's going on in the game in order to set the mood and set the tone, and that's how you get the music. You don't make the music first because you don't really see anything. You need to be inspired. At least that's what I've heard from a lot of the composers and people who have told me who make music. You need to see what's going on first, and then you make the music to fit that scene, to fit the characters, to fit how the person looks, acts, walks, all that stuff, the scenery. So this tells me that Xenoblade Chronicles 2 will make a 2017 launch. If they're pretty much going in there heavy with the music, this is like the second or third music thing that I've done on Xenoblade Chronicles 2. I think it's going to make 2017 worldwide. I think it's going to be out based on everything that we've talked about before, and if it does, oh my gosh, this is for core gamers everywhere. This is a thank you note, and I think they would have to, based on Xenoblade Chronicles X and kind of the circus that went around with that game being delayed, well, not necessarily technically delayed, but being pushed so many times and being shown up in 2013 and not being able to play it until almost 2016, the very end of 2015 for worldwide. Japan got it sooner, but I do feel that this game will be out 2017 and it's going to be glorious. Nintendo's going in pretty freaking hard with this Nintendo Switch, and I am going to love every second of Xenoblade Chronicles 2 because this game is looking awesome. Xenoblade Chronicles 2, cannot wait. Still need to see a lot more on this game, but we do know it's probably going to have some awesome music because of the people who are working on it. We know 8.4 is not working on the localization of this. We have someone else. So there are so many different things. 8.4 is working on Fire Emblem Echoes Shadows of Valentia. So that's just something different. So cool. So cool that the music is going to be awesome. So cool that they're wrapping this thing up. And I cannot wait to see more of this game. Xenoblade Chronicles 2 on the Nintendo Switch exclusive, so good stuff there all around. Alright, and moving on to the Media Crate sales charts for March 20th, 2017 through March 26th, 2017. So the Media Crate sales charts are the sales in Japan on a weekly basis. Remember, this does not cover digital sales, it only covers physical sales for the region of Japan. So let's go ahead and get right into this. So once again, Monster Hunter XX topped the Japanese game charts, and it sold 280,293 units for a total of 1,228,760 units. Now, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild is number 2, the Nintendo Switch version, with 39,103 units for a total of 302,080 units. Number 3, 1-2 Switch coming in at big third with another 21,647 units for a total of 137,384 units. All right, and we're going to go ahead and move on. I'm not going to go over the full list, but of course I'll have that posted right here. We're going to go over some more of the Nintendo games, and at number 6, Pokemon Sun and Pokemon Moon, 9,956 units for a total of 3,221,001 units. Now moving down to number 10, we have Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild on the Wii U with 7,796 units for a total of 81,188 units. And then moving on here at number 13, Super Bomberman R on the Nintendo Switch. Once again, still pulling in pretty good numbers for a Bomberman game. This is insane with 6,952 units for a total of 57,708 units. Then right below that, Super Mario Maker for the Nintendo 3DS at 14th with another 6,801 units for a total of 1,002,323 units. That is like printing money for Nintendo at this point. Then you have Dragon Quest Heroes 1 and 2 for the Nintendo Switch, still going with 4,544 units for a total of 41,419 units. Right underneath that at 17th, we have Yokai Watch 3, which sold 4,425 units for a total of 694,376 units. And right there underneath it at number 20, we have Animal Crossing New Leaf Amiibo Plus with 4,136 units for a total of 150,355 units. Now moving on to hardware sales, which is the big one here. And I was thinking that it was going to stay level, but Nintendo was actually able to get a little bit of a restock in Japan, and that really helped because this was the Splatoon test fire weekend, okay? So Nintendo knew that they needed to get a restock in before that because people were probably going to buy the Nintendo Switch just to play the Splatoon 2 global test fire in addition to Zelda and stuff, and it definitely worked out because the Nintendo Switch sold 78,441 units, okay, for that week, which is really good for Japan. If you can get up into the 70 to 80,000 range in Japan, you're definitely doing well on a weekly basis. So that restock really helped out, and that was actually up from 49,913 units the previous week, which there was supply constraints, and I am hearing some rumblings here and there that there was still some supply constraints in some Japanese stores. If Nintendo had more of them, they definitely could have brought them out, but we are seeing more restocks in other places, which we'll get to in just a second. But I did want to go over some of the other numbers here. Nintendo 3DS was second with over 30,000 units, and then PlayStation 4, PS Vita, PS4 Pro, PlayStation 3, and Wii U, then Xbox One. So overall, pretty good for everyone considering the circumstances in Japan, and also for Nintendo for getting that restock out before Splatoon 2. That was big, able to get nearly 80,000 units sold for the week, which is really good. The numbers, as long as Nintendo has stock, and as long as they have Legend of Zelda, and as long as they have these continued games that are going to be coming out, I think launching with this type of like Bomberman and Zelda was so good. Even for Japan, where Zelda isn't as popular, they were still able to get good sales here. As long as Nintendo has stock, and as long as Nintendo keeps this release lineup as far as what they're doing, consistent games out, I'm pretty sure they're going to continue selling well in Japan. And really, things are going to get really interesting once the games like Xenoblade Chronicles 2, once Smash Brothers, once those games come out later in the year, Fire Emblem Warriors, Project Octopath. There's a lot of games that are catered more towards the Japanese audience, in addition to worldwide as well. So I think Smash Bros is going to be big. We'll see how well that game does, because Smash Bros did really well on the Nintendo 3DS in Japan, and you have this version, which would be the ultimate version of Smash Brothers, and I think a lot of Japanese gamers are going to flock to that one because you can play it at home, HD graphics, in addition to playing it on the go. So we'll see what happens then. Alright, and moving on to the last topic here, guys. If you're looking at getting a Nintendo Switch, please make sure you pay attention to Best Buy Online. They will be having NES Classic Edition and the Nintendo Switch online in stock, okay? But online only. Best Buy, limited quantities for the Nintendo Switch at noon Central Time, okay? So if you are in the West Coast, that is 10 a.m. If you are in the East Coast, that is 1 p.m. Okay, so noon Central Time. Look it up. Make sure you are there and ready if you are trying to get a Nintendo Switch. According to Best Buy's official Twitter account, they say 3/29, March 29th, that is today, noon CT. Limited quantities of the Nintendo Switch and NES Classic will be available online. And they also tagged Nintendo of America and the cards and some other stuff there. So be ready, because these won't last long, and they will not. I think the NES Classic Edition will probably last longer, but still, these are hot items for Nintendo. The NES Classic Edition, in addition to the Nintendo Switch, and I talked about this beforehand with the Nintendo Classic Edition being a precursor to the Nintendo Switch, and Nintendo really wanted to get it out there as far as Nintendo hardware since the Wii U was kind of forgotten by the mainstream media, and they did this masterfully because the Nintendo NES Classic Mini really got people's attention. Like even like the casual gamers, like, oh, what's this Nintendo Mini thing? And then right after that, they had the Nintendo Switch come out. So it put people's minds back in like the Nintendo home console front, or like the Nintendo hardware front, since Nintendo really hasn't released a new console in quite some time. 2012, 2011 when Nintendo 3DS and Nintendo Wii U came out. So it was a good idea to release that Classic Mini Edition thingy. It really helped out as far as getting Nintendo's name back out there, and they hit them with the Nintendo Switch, and now people are really enjoying both of those devices. So pretty cool stuff there. Really looking forward to seeing if any of you guys are able to get one, because there's still a couple users that I know out there that are like, man, I still haven't been able to get one. So hopefully this helps. As far as you picking up a Nintendo Switch, just be ready, be on their sites. Obviously, if you have Best Buy Gamers Club, that's really cool. But yeah, this should be awesome, guys, and just get ready to be on there because they will go really fast. All right, guys, that wraps it up for this video here. Go ahead and hit that like button if you did like it. Let me know you guys want more content like this going forward in the future, and subscribe to PlayerEssence for the latest news, reviews, discussions, and more. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you ninjas for the next video. Peace.